Hello. Shall we go for a wander? Hello and welcome to Andorra. Except those far mountains, they're probably Spain. Yeah, border's just down here. Otherwise it's all Andorra. It's all good. Andorra is the highest country in Europe with an average height of 1,996 meters, which is somewhere around 6,500 feet, which is currently a little bit higher than what I am now, surprisingly, because most of it's below me. But yeah, most of that height comes from the mountains, because despite being so small, this country has 65 mountains located within this very small country. In fact, it's actually one of the 6 micro-states of Europe, and this particular one is the biggest of the 6. The other 5 being, if you're unaware, Monaco, which I plan to pay a visit to in this journey in the next few days, San Marino, the Vatican, Liechtenstein and Malta. So there you go, that's the 6 tiny micro-states of Europe. Yeah, most of the tourism to this country involves skiing, and since it's summer there's not much snow around. So yeah, my main purpose for being here is just to have a halfway break between Spain and France, which is up next. So I'm having a lovely few days just lying here in Spain, no, not Spain, lying here in Andorra, doing not much. A little bit of basic maintenance. Actually found on the motorbike just yesterday a bit of oil leaking from the crank seal. So I've tightened that up, and so far all seems to be good. But the oil level in the tank doesn't seem to have gone down, so I haven't lost a significant amount of oil anyway. Whether or not that's from the crash, I don't know, because I've noticed there was a big patch around that area a number of days ago, but I can't remember whether that was before or after. But anyway, that's another story. It's currently day 16 now since I set off, and it's felt like a lifetime. I can barely even remember getting off the ferry in Santander. It's that long ago now, and that's probably one of my favourite things about travelling. It stretches time out so much, it's unbelievable. Because before this, at Waitrose, I'd worked 6 months straight without a day off, and yeah, look what the thanks I got in return. Yeah, 6 months straight, and that flew by like nobody's business. It's unbelievable how fast it went by. And that's the problem with doing everyday boring job, the same thing every day, in out, in out. The time just goes by so quickly. I don't know how people manage to spend 20, 30 odd years doing the exact same thing in the exact same job without getting bored or needing to move on, or just feeling like their life is flying by too fast. Because it certainly is for me. And I was only there for 5 years and about 4.5 in the job previously, and that felt like forever as well. I think it may have something to do with the unknown, because when you're at your job every day, you're doing the same thing every day, in out, in out. You know what's going to happen. You know what time you start, you know what time you finish, you know roughly what's going to happen. And so there's nothing new, there's nothing to have to work out or think or do. It just sort of happens. Where, as with this, every day is new. I wake up and I have no idea what I'm going to experience or do, or where am I going to find a supermarket, or am I going to get stuck in the middle of Spain for 2 hours because I've had a crash? Am I going to turn up to a campsite and find that it's closed and just have to pitch up in the middle of nowhere? There are no guarantees when you're travelling, and that's something that's is probably one of the best things about this. Every day is new, every day is exciting. You've got to constantly think and work stuff out and try and communicate with people that you can't speak to. Play charades. Unos, por favor. Yeah. Sí, señor. Yeah. Excelente. Now, it all looks pretty good actually. The weather. Yesterday was overcast, and actually there was a brief spell of rain, which is the first bit of rain I've had since a very light patch of rain for a couple of hours overnight in Santander. Apart from that, I've had nothing. Supposedly tomorrow is going to be quite a bit of rain, and tomorrow I've got to press on into France, so I might be riding in the rain tomorrow, which could be miserable, and it could be even worse if the roads are slick and I keep falling over. Hopefully we won't. We'll see. But yes. One thing, quickly, before I go, that I would like to address is seemingly, well, it's what I heard. I wonder if it's what everyone thinks. It's somewhat of an urban myth about the French, and that is that the French know how to speak English, but they just choose not to when they hear the person speaking to them has an English accent, and they non anglais. Yes, that is, as far as I know, the commonly held misconception about the French by the English, when actually what it turns out is the French, much like the Spanish, although not quite as bad with the Spanish, just don't learn English, as it turns out, because they think everybody learns French. And I found this out with the most interesting conversation one night in a bar that sounds like the opening of a joke. There's an Englishman, a Norwegian and a South African in a bar, and we were in Zimbabwe at the time, and I was saying how the South African gets it easy having visa-free access to Zimbabwe, and I have to pay $55 to get visa on arrival. And that set her off, and she started moaning and ranting and raving about Europe, how she has to pay £70 for a Schengen visa, and then £90 for a UK visa, and then has to have a interview 4 weeks in advance and has to show bank statements and this and that and all sorts. So I can't really moan having to pay $55 for visa on arrival. And then she started moaning about the French, which, since it's almost a legal requirement in the UK to hate the French and be annoyed by them I took great delight in this, and I sat back and just left her to it. Oh yes. And she started moaning about the French, how they don't speak any English, and that because she's white and not black. Yeah, South Africans is very much a black and white thing out there still, despite apartheid not being a thing now for 20 odd years. Yeah, so they think that she's European, so she has to speak to them in Afrikaans to try and force them to speak English. And then the Norwegian guy got involved. Oh, I do not understand. Why do the French think that everybody speaks French? Why do they not understand? French is not the international language. English is the international language. We all learn English in Norwegian. Why do they not do it? And all of this, meanwhile, was music to my ears. It was gorgeous. Even in fact, just the other week in Barcelona, there was some Polish guy who drove down from Calais, and he was trying to get the girl at the petrol station to understand that he was trying to buy diesel, and she had no idea what he was on about. And even the Polish guy was briefly moaning about how useless the French are. But anyway, I think I'm ranting and raving enough. Don't know how I'll edit this video. I'll either cut in a load of stuff at the end or overlay it as we go, my various wanderings around Andorra, uphill and down dale and over here and there and everywhere. But for now, that is it. I'm probably going to start heading back because I'm getting quite warm under this sun. I've been enjoying this view for some time now, and I think it's time to press on to our next destination. So until next time, see you then.